have good financial topics. So after that, that's
Yahoo Finance is getting back to the fundamentals with our theme week, Investing 101, 5 rules to build wealth. Today, we give you the second rule. Be ready for any emergency. We have 2 experts with us to give you some actionable tips to prepare your finances for unforeseen circumstances. I'm joined now, you see them on screen, David and John Auten-Schneider, hosts of the Living Not So Fabulously podcast. Thank you both for joining me. Let's get into this. Let's dive into some of the possible emergencies here. I mean, recent labor market data showed fewer job openings and fewer jobs being added, causing some workers to worry about potential layoffs. What actionable tips would you give someone who may experience job loss?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for having us. People are feeling a little bit anxious right now at this time. So the first step that we recommend folks do is to administer triage. Get crystal clear on the state of your finances and try to get some more control over your finances. A great and simple way to do that is to download digital apps to your bank, your credit union, your credit cards onto your phone so you can monitor your balances, as well as you want to be able to set it up so you can easily move funds fast if you need to, if things get a little critical for you. The next thing you want to do is to start to take action now. What are those lenders or what are those bills that you can maybe negotiate more friendly payments, such as reducing or delaying payments a little bit? And who are the lenders I'm going to call if I need to maybe have that discussion about forbearance?
Now, what about a potential recession? How would you advise someone to rearrange their finances in that scenario?
I think that one of the important things to remember is that when we hear about recessions is to get in front of the whole idea of the potential of a market downturn or a recession. It's important to take a look at your portfolio and say, is it still in alignment with my values and my goals and my time horizon, or does it need adjustment since the last time? I think one of the other things to remember is that you're in a hopefully in a long-term relationship with your portfolio. And the average recession lasts about 17 months. Recessions since World War II have averaged about 10 months. And it only takes about 4 months for the average market recovery to happen. So if you are sticking with your true values and your principles of your portfolio, you most likely can ride this out.
Now, one of your recent guests, Patrick L. Riley, he's a TV producer and author. He's shared his experience in an emergency and not being quite prepared. I want to play this for our viewers real quick.
It was instantly overwhelming. It was instantly paralyzing. There was shame. There was embarrassment because by this time in lockdown, we were in pandemic at that time.
Right.
I had adjusted a lot of my work to be virtual. So the idea that I'm working virtually and I now don't have a home to work in put a lot of stress on me.
No doubt.
I had home insurance, but I had let it lapse. This happened inside this very window. It was a different gaze for me to be in need, to be vulnerable, to not have the answers figured out.
Right.
A lot of that savings that I had that might have helped me breathe a little bit better had already been spent because we'd already been in pandemic for a year.
Right. Yeah.
And I had lost a lot of the revenue I was going to get from what was a second leg of the book tour, all canceled because of pandemic.
I got to know, what were some of your key takeaways from this conversation with Patrick Riley?
Yeah, I think the key takeaway was just his resiliency. He was just really, really strong in the moment because he was in the middle of the pandemic like we all were, but then he had to deal with this house fire. The other thing that we took away from is one of our recommendations for folks who find themselves to be laid off is figure out what your payment plan is going to be if you've got to really stretch your dollars further. So we suggest that folks put their finances, before the layoff even happens or an emergency happens, what are the bills that you must pay? What are the bills that you should pay? And then what are those bills that you're open to negotiating to pay? That way you have a strategy. If you find yourself in a hard situation, you know exactly what your action plan is going to be.
And David, want to get your takeaways as well.
Well, I think that, again, here, it's important to remember to have a crystal clear picture of what your financial life looks like. And that will help you to be able to make decisions, especially in an emergency or in a short time frame. You can quickly say, I understand what are the proper moves for me right now. And that's why it's important to always have your thumb on what is going on with my finances so you can stay ahead of events like this.
Thank you so much for joining us here. Looking forward to much more from David and John Schneider. They've got more great guests coming on the show, including Out Leadership.
Yeah, so you talk about, how, basically how to save, when it comes to, emergency, as in we comes to a recession, which, some people think we're in right now. And also when it comes to after the pandemic as well, there was a time, where, a lot of people couldn't get their unemployment because, here in California, it was so backed up that, millions and millions of people apply for unemployment and they didn't get their unemployment to closer to 3 months or almost to a year and everything. And some people didn't have no money to, no emergency money just to stretch out for a couple of months. Once, when the pandemic happened, they ain't really had no emergency money just to stretch out, months and months when it comes to rent, bills, all that type of things, to really prepare for some things like that. Also with natural disasters, because like in Florida, you have hurricanes. Here, we have earthquakes. We never have a major earthquake yet, but it comes to major earthquakes, for me and my wife and everything, we gotta have some type of emergency fund to last for something and somehow. And having emergency savings is so much important. So, but other than that, go ahead, Hakeem, man. What's your take on when it comes to emergencies, either natural disasters or recessions or pandemic? What's your take on it?
Wonderful, man, brother. You picked another great topic, and I know we talked about this plenty of time here. Emergency fund is necessary. We have unforeseen things that happen, health, car troubles, and stuff like that. So if you don't have any savings, you put yourself in a disadvantage. You know what I mean? I think, was it you or Ron that said that statistically only people have $700 in their bank account?
Not
Ron,
even. Not even.
So with that being said, so we're at a disadvantage. So it's
Yep.
just important to try to put 3 months of your savings up to be able to prepare for anything that's going to happen.
Not only that, but shout out to Hassan, that's also in the building. Blessings upon you. Not only that, shout out to Ashton Williams, the creator of the Sightseer Adventure, is also in the building. What's going on, big dog? Ash, hey, what's going on, darling? Great to see you. It's always great to see you. It's always great to see you. Thank you guys for always tuning in, always coming by and showing us love and support. We really do greatly appreciate it. And emergency fund is something I'm very big on. Like I just recently had a car trouble, and I was able to pay that situation off because the simple fact is I had an emergency fund set aside. Sometimes the best way to stay up for me, my strategy is the best way to do emergency fund is pretty much is to use your check and whatever you have left over, put like 10 or 15% away and do not even touch it in case of emergency. So like Hakeem stated, like if you have car trouble, you behind on your rent, behind on your bill, or you behind on anything else, you always have that fund that you can be able to use. Even when it comes to the aspect of going to the doctor or going to the hospital, because sometimes you may be sick and you don't have you don't have your insurance card with you, but that emergency fund can help you out temporary until your insurance sometimes reimburse you. Because some insurance, even though you didn't use them, they sometimes you can put in a note, let them know like, hey, situation occurred, and sometimes they'll reimburse you. Because that happened to me several times before. So I would say that emergency fund is so very important. But the best way they say to have emergency fund to save up is to 6 to a year set aside. Based on how much you get on your income, set it aside, continue to build it. And not only that, and also a great way to build it as well, put in like in a stock that you know that's gonna give you a monthly dividend. Of course, it's not financial advice, but you can put in a stock that normally give you monthly dividend and also can increase it. Because sometimes leaving it in your savings account may not be a lot, because some savings account give you 0.1%. That way, it's also good to put in a high yield savings account, which could probably give you more for your buck. Shout out to Dave Ramsey for that, because I actually learned that from him. So it's true, it works. I have an emergency fund, my own personal experience. I have an emergency fund right now in a high yield savings account, and it continues to grow every single month. So that method does work. Shout out to PH Diva, that's also in the building. Supreme God's PH Diva is in the building as well. Yeah. one thing that come true is that emergency fund come off the top. Pay yourself first. That's a fact. Before anything. Go ahead, Jordan.
Great points for both of you guys. And I'm gonna say that when it comes to relationships, marriage, relationships, whatever, there's down there, but when you're in a relationship, there's a little bit of cushion you have there, especially if both of you work and everything. So, for emergency savings funds, it's usually up to if there's two people, it's up to 6 months. For me and my wife, we still like to be careful. We like to save for a year since we have our daughter and everything. When it comes to if we have, like I said, if it comes to car trouble, we might have something saved up, but if there's something we can pay with a credit card, and we just pay later, we do that as well. I remember earlier this year before I had my daughter, I had a little car trouble. I had to get a new radiator for my car, which is no big biggie. I had to use the credit card, and I paid it off in 2 months and everything. But when it comes to important stuff like a recession, when it comes to natural disasters, or just anything, like I said, people don't think anything can happen in a day. Something can happen tomorrow. Car troubles can happen tomorrow. I might have a major earthquake tomorrow because like I said, here in California, you're supposed to have a major earthquake coming up real soon. So luckily I got, earthquake insurance that comes from my apartment and everything. And also we have money saved up and everything. So it's very, very important because anything can happen during the day, tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month, whatever. Something might happen that you're going to probably jump in your emergency savings funds. Either you save in your account, you put it in the stock, wherever you do, you pull it out, use it, and you save it back up again. Simple stuff like that. So, it's very, very important, very, very important, especially to these our millennials and Generation Z's, because it just feels like when it comes to money, we do not want to save. We don't want to save. You don't have no money. Either you gotta get, if you live in an apartment, you're either gonna get kicked out, you gotta move with a friend, move back with your parents, or or try to get a roommate or something like that. So please, to our millennials and Generation Z's, there's nothing wrong for saving for yourself when it comes to an emergency savings fund. Once you start saving money, 6 months to, like I said, 6 months to a year,